A warm welcome to you here on TV News Hour today on TV Sapiencia. The top stories today. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Botokun, has warned officers of the Nigeria Police Force against the unlawful and prolonged detention of suspects. South Korea's Constitutional Court dismissed the impeachment of Prime Minister Han Duck-soo today, Monday, reinstating him as acting president. And in sports, the race to secure a spot at the 2026 FIFA World Cup to be hosted by the USA, Canada and Mexico enters a decisive phase as African teams gear up for match day 6 of the qualifiers. My name is Chioma Vic-Chukwuemeka. Now the news in full. The Inspector General of Police, Kayode Botokun, has warned officers of the Nigeria Police Force against the unlawful and prolonged detention of suspects. The IG stressed that suspects must not be detained beyond legally stipulated periods and warned that any officer found culpable of such violations would face strict disciplinary measures. Botokun noted that unlawful detentions erode public trust and confidence in the police force, urging officers to conduct their duties with professionalism, integrity, and respect for human rights. In a statement yesterday, Sunday, by the force spokesman Muyiwa Adejobi, the IG emphasized the need for strict adherence to constitutionally guaranteed rights, particularly sections 34 and 35 of the Nigerian Constitution, which uphold human dignity and personal liberty. Away from that, a former Senate President and Chairman of the Board of Trustees and the People's Democratic Party, Adolphus Wabara, on Sunday faulted President Bola Tinubu's decision to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State. In a strongly worded statement on Sunday, Wabara insisted that Tinubu's action violated the fundamental principles of Nigeria's constitution and called for immediate reversal. The development comes as the Socio-Economic Rights and Accountability Project filed a lawsuit against Tinubu, challenging the legality of his decision. The president on Tuesday, March 18, 2025, slammed the state of emergency in Rivers State and suspended Governor Similaye Fubara, Deputy Governor, Professor Ngozi Odu, and members of the House of Assembly. He also appointed a former Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas, retired as sole administrator for an initial period of 6 months. The proclamation was ratified by the National Assembly on Thursday. Defending his action, the president insisted that the state was drifting toward anarchy due to the frosty relationship between Fubara and Martin Amewule-led assembly members loyal to the former governor and minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. The Lagos State government on Sunday said it was set to close Olosusun and Solus landfills within the next 18 months as part of measures to maintain a clean city. The Commissioner for Environment and Water Resources, Tokunbo Wahab, who disclosed these, also countered the claim that Lagos smells, as recently posited by a core member. The government said it would close the landfills to transition them into modern transfer loading stations where waste will be sorted, compacted, and redirected to recycling facilities. According to the government, the move is part of the comprehensive approach to ensure a clean, resilient, and livable city, dispelling viral insinuations that the state is smelling. In a statement on Sunday, the commissioner insisted that Lagos is not smelling. It is evolving towards sustainable water processing, modernized landfill management, cleaner waterways, and structured sanitation systems. We are following up on the story and we'll keep updating you. The President Bola Tinubu on Sunday flagged off the 125 kilometers Benin-Asaba highway expected to be completed within 30 months. The president was represented at the flag-off by Edo State Governor Monday Okpebholo. The governor described the road as a legacy project, adding that Edo was nearing Lagos in terms of infrastructural development. The Minister of Works, Dave Umahi, commended the visionary leadership of Okpebholo, who he said had turned the state into a construction site in less than 150 days in office. The 6th Division of the Nigerian Army has reported the destruction of 19 illegal refineries, the arrest of 12 suspects, and the recovery of 138,000 liters of stolen petroleum products in Niger Delta region. The success was achieved during a week-long operation conducted in collaboration with other security agencies across several communities in the region. Acting Deputy Director of the 6th Division Army Public Relations, Lieutenant Colonel Jonah Danjuma disclosed these developments in a statement issued from Port Harcourt on Sunday evening. The operation, which took place from March 17 to March 23, 2025, spanned 4 states, that's Rivers, Bayelsa, Akwa Ibom and Delta states. Still in security, joint security team comprising the police, military, civil defense, Ichida Vigilante Group and Ihiala respectively secured the release of Reverend Father Stephen Echezana at Ihiala and was returned unharmed. The victim was abducted at a force station in Ichida, where a joint security force in an ensuing gun fight with the armed criminals who held the Reverend Father hostage. In a coordinated hot chase by the operatives, different security checkpoints and security operatives in the state were alerted, which resulted in the criminals abandoning the priest at Ihiala and escaping through a nearby bush. We'll take a break right now. When we return, following improved security network and measures put in place by Anambra State Commissioner of Police, Ikoyi Orutugu, to nip in the bud complaints of robbery of phones and personal belongings, some criminals have been arrested. These and other stories will come your way after this timeout. Please do stay with us.
Quality is not an act, it is a habit. If life is predictable, it will cease to be life and be without flavor. At TV Sapiencia will bring many bits of this and many bits of that. Sports.
What is that old saying about being vulnerable when you've just scored?
Movies.
Cover me!
Music.
I feel for you. This is how I feel.
News.
Most insensitive decision to make in a diversified nation like Nigeria.
For the moon entertainment, name it. Which will I choose? Quality or quantity? I choose both. We have quality and we've got quantity. Why not have both? I can have it all.
Audio Jungle.
Welcome back to News Hour. Glad to have you still with us. Following improved security network and measures put in place by Anambra State Commissioner for Police Ikoyi Orutugu to nip in the bud complaints of robbery of phones and personal belongings of innocent road users along Club Road in Oka, formerly known as Abakiki Street. Police operatives attached to the Special Anti-Cult Unit Enugu who arrested one Chibike Ozekwem, aged 22, and Favor Patrick, aged 19 years, respectively, in an uncompleted building at Onra Street in Oka. According to a press release signed by the police public relations officer, Mr. Tochukwu Kenga, the operatives recovered one pump action gun, 16 pieces of expended cartridges, a battle axe, and 2 suspected stolen phones. The police operatives have expanded the investigation aimed at arresting other gang members, and further details will be communicated to the public when received. Away from that, Catholic Archbishop of Abuja Emeritus John Cardinal Onaikan has taken a swipe at political leaders in the executive, legislature and judiciary arms of government who misuse power to oppress people, warning them to know that power belongs only to God, to whom they would be answerable. In a homily delivered at the 17th edition of St. Patrick at Holy Family Catholic Church Life Camp Abuja yesterday. He warned that power must be carried out with the knowledge that the holder would give account to God on its use. Speaking on the issue of forgiveness, the Cardinal noted that there was no sin beyond forgiveness, but observed that people were not always ready to ask for forgiveness, alleging that political leaders were involved in bad things and yet obtained court judgments to justify them. Away from that, former presidential candidate of the Labour Party, Peter Obi, has criticized the ongoing political developments in Rivers State, describing them as an aberration and a violation of Nigeria's constitutional order. Obi, in a statement today, Monday, via X, condemned the alleged disobedience of a Supreme Court ruling regarding the release of statutory allocations to an appointed sole administrator instead of a duly constituted legislative body. He expressed concern over the decision to release state funds despite a standing order from the Supreme Court, which had barred the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Accountant General of the Federation from disbursing these allocations until a legally recognized House of Assembly passes an Appropriation Act. Peter Obi stressed that the issue extends beyond Rivers State as it threatens the core of Nigeria's democracy. He called on leaders to respect the judiciary and uphold constitutional principles, warning that continued violations could jeopardize the nation's democratic future. Children under 15 accounted for 4.3% of new and relapse cases of tuberculosis in the WHO's European region in 2023, 10% more than in the previous 12 months, a report said today, Monday. More than 172,000 people overall were reported to have new and relapsed cases of the disease in the 53 countries, including several in Central Asia that make up the World Health Organization region. The number was similar to 2022 levels, but in the European Union, European Economic Area, nearly 37,000 people were diagnosed, 2,000 more than the previous year. WHO Europe and the European Centre for Disease Prevention and Control said children under 15 years also accounted for 4.3% of all the TB cases in the EU EAA, signifying an increase for the third year in a row, the health body said in a statement. The findings of the report show that the spread of TB is still ongoing in the region, with health agencies noting that immediate public health measures are needed to control and reduce the growing TB burden. Away from that, we move to South Korea, where Constitutional Court dismissed the impeachment of Prime Minister Han Duck-soo today, Monday, reinstating him as acting president, a role he took after the president was suspended by declaring martial law. The court ruling is the latest development in South Korea's complex and sprawling political crisis, which President Yoon Suk-yeol started with a short-lived attempt to subvert civilian rule in December. Lawmakers defied armed soldiers at Parliament to vote down Yoon's December 3 martial law declaration and impeached him soon after, with Han stepping in as acting president. But he himself was impeached by lawmakers just weeks later over his purported involvement in the martial law debacle, plus a dispute over judicial appointments. The court ruled 5-1 against Han's impeachment, with 2 judges arguing that the case should not have made it to the court, as lawmakers did not have a supermajority to impeach him in the first place. Away from politics, we move right now to sport, where the race to secure a spot at the 2026 FIFA World Cup, to be hosted by the USA, Canada, and Mexico, enters a decisive phase as African teams gear up for match day 6 of the qualifiers. With the stakes higher than ever, group leaders will aim to consolidate their positions, while teams in pursuit of qualification will fight to keep their dreams alive. Nigeria's commanding 2-0 win over Rwanda on Friday set the tone for the week, demonstrating the intensity and quality of the competition. As of today, Monday, that's the Monday and Tuesday fixtures unfolds, fans across the continent and the world are eager to see which teams will rise to the occasion and edge closer to a coveted World Cup berth. And we are following up on this story. We'll keep updating. Well, that's it on the news this hour. A quick reminder of our top stories. We told you that the Inspector General of Police Kayode Botokun has warned the officers of the Nigerian police force against the unlawful and prolonged detention of suspects. From South Korea, the Constitutional Court dismissed the impeachment of Prime Minister Han Duck-soo today, Monday, reinstating him as acting president. And finally, in sports, the race to secure a spot at the 2026 FIFA World Cup to be hosted by the USA, Canada, and Mexico enters a decisive phase as African teams gear up for match day 6 of the qualifiers. Well, that's it on World News this hour on TV Sapiencia. I am Chioma Vic-Chukwuemeka. Thanks for watching. Do have a good time. Bye-bye.